Welcome to Cocktails and Capital, the working on your business podcast that feels more like grabbing a drink with your best friend. I'm your host, Sarah Tatum, that best friend. I'm the owner of Tatum Accounting, where we invite our clients to take a vacation from their bookkeeping. In this podcast, I'm going to give it to you straight. Talking points and vague tips, we don't do that here. There's a bunch of noise out there in the entrepreneur community, especially when it relates to finances. And when you're trying to run your business, you just don't have time for that. And I know that you would rather be doing literally anything other than recording expenses and logging into your accounting software. So I'm bringing you practical advice without any of the fluff, just like your best friend would. So turn the volume up, grab your gin and tonic, and let's dive into this week's theme. Hello, welcome to episode 33 of Cocktails and Capital. Thank you guys so much for your patience this year. I know we have been away and it's been a crazy first 5 months of the year. I'm recording this on June 2nd. So the whole thing I wanted to do today is just kind of do a recap of 2023, how it's gone so far. You know, we're all about goals here at Tatum Accounting, Cocktails and Capital. So I want to go over what I had set for goals for 2023, how we've met those goals or we haven't met those goals. Just sit and chat with y'all. I really kind of missed having this outlet to talk to you guys and connect with people. So we're going to hop right on in and just kind of go month by month and see what we can uncover together. You know, I love to cry on this podcast, so we might get a little emotional at some point, but let's get into it. So January, obviously, kickstart of our busy season. We had our tax side of the business kind of grow twofold. That was kind of unexpected. Last year, 2022, Q1, we did I think 25 tax returns or something. And this year we ended up doing about 53. And we still have people coming in. So it has been pretty hectic. And it made me realize that not only do I need to find somebody to help with tax prep for next season, because I genuinely cannot do all of it by myself, but I also realized that hiring Nicole, our staff bookkeeper, was probably the best decision that I've ever made for Tatum Accounting. And it just kind of, circles back to those episodes where we talked about, can you afford to hire somebody? What kind of metrics do you need to look at? Where are you trying to take your business in order to grow? And there is no way that I would have been able to double that tax prep load without her. She pretty much single-handedly took care of our monthly bookkeeping clients during tax season, and I would have absolutely lost my mind without her. So huge shout out to you, Nicole. Thank you so much. But without, hiring people to be there to help us, to help me, there's just no way that, we would have been able to go through that. And I think we kind of see that in the fact that Cocktails and Capital went away for quite a while. I think our last episode was sometime in early or mid-January. And in that same time frame, I had done so well in December and, pre-recorded podcasts to come out while I was on vacation. And then got back and things just really took off and got crazy. Talking about the cycle of bookkeeping and how it relates to tax is probably something that, a lot of business owners don't really think about. But the year-end closeout for a small business is pretty intense. And there's a lot of double and triple checking before we send your reports to your tax preparer or before we take over to do those taxes. I mean, we're going through the entire year and checking things, but that end of year tax time is that is the on the money time to make sure that everything is correct, that we get a hold of our clients who we haven't been able to get a hold of, and make sure that things are accurate and where they need to be for accurate tax reporting. And you have such a short window of time to really make sure that everything is correct, because we got to get those 1099s out by January 31st. And oh my gosh, it's there's a lot going on. And also, when you take 2 weeks off at the beginning of January to go see your husband who's on deployment and go see your family in Germany, it kind of cuts into your productivity a lot. And not to say like I didn't do any work. I got to my family's house in Germany on the 4th of January and worked until I got home on the 11th. But there's a lot less productivity, right? Because you're with your family, you want to spend time with your family. I only had my laptop. And if you've ever been on Instagram and seen pictures of my office, I've got at least 2 screens, got the laptop over to the side. I have 7 cups of coffee on my desk. There's a lot going on. So it definitely was not as productive as it should have been. So I have made the executive decision to no longer take vacations in January. Until we sell this business or close it out. So that's that. But I think what tax season really taught me this year is that not only can I handle more than I think I can, but I also can't, and I don't particularly want to. So we're definitely going to be hiring a data entry tax preparer. So that's been put on the goal list for the end of the year to make sure we have somebody great in place by the time November, December rolls around. Who can just help with that data entry. And then it makes things a lot simpler on my end. And it ensures that I can take this business in a different direction, because really when we're growth focused, we need to be more management focused, right? There's this, I think it's a triangle, might be just a fulcrum. But essentially, when you're on the lower end of a job, when you first get into a job, entry level, we're on the technical side of things, right? We're in the work. We are in the business. We are working in it every day. We're doing client work. We're having meetings. We're doing all these wonderful things, the things we started the business for because we loved doing them, right? As you get older, or as you get more experienced in your job, and as you're starting to make more money, you become a lot less of a technical employee or a technical business owner, and you enter more on the management and direction side. That management and direction side, by the time you're at the end of that fulcrum, you're doing 10% technical and 90% management and direction. And I think it's kind of crazy to say, but I think 3.5 years in, we are hitting that 70% management and technical side on this business. And I have to say, not to brag or anything, but I think that's really cool. It's, you work really, really hard. And when you can see your business grow right in front of you, it's really rewarding. And it's really validating, that you've done things correctly. I personally get hit with imposter syndrome all the time. And I sit here and I think, my God, I have not done anything today, or I have not done anything this month. And last year, I'm pretty sure I sat here and was like, I haven't done anything this year. We have not grown at all. But at the same time, here we are with a podcast that's been pretty successful in listenership. We have a staff bookkeeper. We have an admin assistant. We're going to hire a tax preparer. We have all of these things that have increased our productivity as far as apps and things. Our revenue has increased. Our ability to take on more clients has increased. Our level of service has increased. And so for me to sit here and say that I have done absolutely nothing, or I haven't had any success or anything, is a bunch of crap, to be honest with you. But that imposter syndrome hits hard. And so that's another thing I've been working on this year, this January through May timeframe, to really get out of my head. Tax season is one of the most stressful parts of being an accountant. You may have also noticed Instagram presence took a dip. It's very hard in February and March to want to put yourself out there. I looked like an absolute goblin sitting at my desk every day. And it's, no one wants to see that on their Instagram when you're scrolling through stories. No one wants to see their accountant looking like a hot mess. But that's the truth and the vulnerability of it all. Is this is a hard season to be in. And now we're in June and everything has smoothed. It has calmed down. We are good. Things are great. But that, February to April 18th time frame is just, it just smacks you, and it hits every year. And you are like, where did this come from? I don't remember being this stressed last year, but you were in fact this stressed last year. And you act like you have never experienced anything like this in your lifetime, but in fact you have. And we went through this last year. So, it's been a very good learning process for me to kind of like rework my brain, and be nicer to myself. Like 2023 has kind of been the year where I'm just like, I have to treat myself better in order to treat my clients better, to treat my husband better, to treat my life better, my parents, my friends, everybody. It's If you're not nice to yourself, it's very hard to be nice to other people. So I'm trying my best to be as nice to myself while I sit at this desk for 8 hours a day as possible. And something I came upon in February, and it was on TikTok, which I have an opinion on TikTok, and it's tax tips. But as far as like life hacks and life tips, TikTok is my go-to. But anyway, I had found a video that was talking about bare minimum Mondays. And I thought that was just like the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. I do not do well on Mondays, as I'm sure most people don't. But the day that I don't do well at all on is a Thursday. I don't know why. Thursdays for me are like, no, we're not doing anything today. I wake up, my brain is just not there. It doesn't want to work. It doesn't want to do anything. So what I've done is restructure my week. And with the help of my absolutely wonderful business coach, shout out to Alicia, I made like my days into themes. And it's been super helpful. So like we have monthly Mondays and Tax Tuesday. I have to have everything cute and little graphics in my Asana account and everything. So, and Wednesday is for content and marketing. And then Thursday, I put my least effort task, which is networking and making connections with anybody, bankers, financial advisors, small business owners. It is my day to reach out, make connections. And that takes me maybe an hour. And if I get up on a Thursday and I have more brain power than I ended up with the week before on a Thursday, I will sit here and I will continue to get work done. But generally on a Thursday, it's not the time. So Thursdays, I take the time and I take care of my brain and I treat it nicely, because trying to sit here and force myself to work on something when my brain literally does not have the capacity or the energy to do so, it's mentally exhausting. It's draining. It feels terrible because you sit at this desk and imagine just staring at a screen for hours because you have it ingrained in your brain that you have to sit at your desk every day, every weekday, and you have to get work done. But if you're just sitting here and just staring at the screen and talking poorly to yourself because you're literally not getting anything done and you're telling yourself that all day, and then you leave the desk at 5 o'clock and you go, man, I sat here and wasted my entire day and I got absolutely nothing done. That is just so harsh on the brain and so bad for us that now if I get that networking done and my brain is like, no, we're not doing anything else today, I will go and I will cook. I will go bake. I will go spend the day in my garden. I will go visit a friend. I'll go take myself to lunch. I can go to the zoo. I can go to the botanical gardens. I could do literally anything that I want because I have set myself up in this business to be able to do that. And I have also set my brain up to be nicer to itself. So that was like a February, March-ish situation. Dead of tax season. And the whole like monthly Mondays, Tax Tuesday thing, that did not work during tax season. We did taxes every single day, Saturdays and Sundays included. But in that same space, I started doing that Thursday easy day, and it helped a lot. I was so much more productive. Everything was like so much smoother. So if you're struggling and you're not being nice to yourself and you're forcing yourself to sit and work when you generally don't have capacity to do that, try to do a bare minimum day. Just get done what you need to get done and be nice to yourself. Just be nicer to yourself. Be kind, not just to everybody else, but to you, because you're the person that you have to be with every day for the rest of your life. So that was February. March, we also hit a pretty big milestone, and we hit a 25K month, and it was so cool. I was really, really proud of us. We really put in a lot of work, Nicole and I, to get to that point, and I think it's really interesting to see how 3 years after we've opened, that's where we are, and we wouldn't be here without all of our clients, trusting us with their books. And we are just genuinely really appreciative of all of our clients and everybody who's listening, who has referred us and recommended us. And this is just another big thank you episode. This literally all this podcast is just me thanking you guys all the time. So if you ever want to tune in and hear somebody be grateful, just tune into Cocktails and Capital. But we do have a lot of other things planned for the rest of this year. We did hit most of our goals in Q1 and so far in Q2. There's a couple things that we didn't obtain. We may have had that really great month in March, but since then, without taxes, it's kind of dipped a little. So we're not hitting our gross revenue goal that I had hoped for. But what I'm doing is just readjusting that goal. I'm taking it a step back, dialing it down, making it a little bit more obtainable, which if you listen to our goals episode, you know all about the SMART acronym and that attainable section. If you don't, we will link it in the show notes for you. But I've just reworked our goals to be more attainable to what they are looking like they're going to end up being. So that way at the end of the year, I'm not like massively disappointed. But the thing about it too is that it helps me to review our financials and make sure we're staying in budget, to be able to adjust our budget for the rest of 2023. And just, make sure I can take care of the employees that we have and also take care of myself, and that we have the capacity to take on new business. And recently, we have found that we don't have a lot of capacity. So we're severely limiting the amount of new clients that we take on, and limiting what type of clients we take on. So if you are interested, we do have like a tiny little wait list going on right now. And so if you're ever listening to this podcast and you're thinking you might want to work with us, I would suggest reaching out as soon as possible to get on that wait list. But the thing about it is, like, I started this business so that I could work to live, not live to work, which is one of my favorite sayings. And I had forgotten that for a while there. And up until last month, I had completely forgotten it. And I was in here, all the time, except for Thursdays. But I was very stressed out, and I was feeling pretty down that we weren't seeing the growth that I had wanted. And we weren't pulling in those revenue goals that I had wanted. And so I was in here adjusting them, and I felt pretty down about it. But then I was thinking about how many hours I'm really putting in here. And I had to look at what I actually need in a month in order to live, and how much additional I would like to have on hand in order to continue like living the life that I like to live. And we were only like a couple of thousand, maybe $1,000 short at the time. And within a month, we took care of that easily. And so now I have reworked my brain again. It's like the year of reworking the brain. But I've reworked my brain again to go back to that work to live mindset. I don't want to be in here all day. I know Nicole doesn't want to be in her office all day. And I know that my tax preparer, when I hire one, is not going to want to be in her office all day or his office all day either. So we have to limit the amount of people that we're taking on, limit the type of client that we're taking on, and make sure that everybody is still in this happy, stress-free environment. Because if you've ever been on the website, we're all about taking the stress out of your bookkeeping. But we also, while we absorb your stress for your bookkeeping, we have to de-stress ourselves. So we're kind of in the process of changing the goals from being revenue driven, from being financially driven, to being more lifestyle driven and more like de-stress driven. That's not even a word, but you get my point. We're trying to be more of a healthy place to work and be more of that stress-free brand. I feel like if we're stressed out, obviously we can't give our clients that stress-free experience. So we've just reworked some things and made things a little bit easier on ourselves, and hopefully, increase the level of service that our clients feel like they're getting from us. So all in all, 2023 has been really enlightening. It's been very eye-opening as to how I can be a better manager. It's been very eye-opening on how I can better serve our clients and how I can better serve myself. And that, in all honesty, is why we start these businesses. We want to have that freedom to work when we want. We want to have the freedom to do what we love. And I think the longer your business goes on, the harder it is to remember why you started these businesses, because we get so into the work and so into running this business, so into having that social media presence, into developing content and all of those things. And it just takes away from the whole reason why you started this, which is to have more freedom. And we all really need to just take a minute and remember that that's why we're here. That's why you're listening to this podcast, because you want freedom in your business. You want freedom from your 9 to 5. And we're here to help you get there. So I really hope y'all learned a couple of things from this episode. Maybe I gave you some pointers to think about for your goals for June to December. If you are listening to this and anything hit home, please screenshot the episode and post it to your Instagram. Tag us. Let me know what you took away. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, anything at all, unless they're mean. Because remember, we just want to be kind. So I really appreciate y'all listening, and we are back, and we're going to be back on schedule. So I will see you here next week. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and follow Tatum Accounting on Instagram. You can also do us a huge favor by leaving a review. It's the best way to support us. Let's catch up next week, same time, same place.